Are you ready to transform your summer into an epic splash-tastic adventure? Say goodbye to wasteful, single-use water balloons and hello to the ultimate in reusable, eco-friendly fun with reusable water balloons. Check out the link in the video description to get yours on Amazon today.
The Labour government's decision to scrap its blanket 20 miles per hour speed limits in Wales just a year after they were introduced has sparked hope for the rest of the UK. Wales Transport Secretary Ken Skates admitted the policy was so unpopular even his own family had signed the petition against it. Celebrity lawyer Nick "Mr. Loophole" Freeman, famous for helping celebrities beat traffic cases, has said the celebrated decision will hopefully have a knock-on effect on the rest of the UK. Welcoming the news, he said, "Ever since its inception I've called for Wales to scrap the 20 miles per hour speed limit. Pleased to hear this now happened. Shame, this doesn't create a legally binding precedent for the rest of the country. But hopefully good sense will prevail." Drivers across the UK previously shared their misery after the 20 miles per hour speed limits were imposed by their local councils, with drivers forced to crawl from A to B. Natasha Usker, the Welsh Conservative Shadow Transport Minister, also welcomed the news, but said the changes must be brought in quickly. She said, "While I appreciate that Labour and the Cabinet Secretary appear to be listening to the public on 20 miles per hour, it is unclear who will be seeing these changes and how quickly they will be implemented. The failure of this experiment makes it much less likely that there would ever be a 20 miles per hour blanket limit in England." And many took to X to express their delight that the policy is now dead. Though in Scotland, Humza Yousaf was still discussing implementing the ban in Scotland before he was ousted in May this year. Councils, who are already stretched due to Labour's budget cuts, will be left to sort out the mess the government has made of their 20 miles per hour policy, and I cannot see there being many significant changes as a result. £5 million is being given to councils in Wales, who have to bid for funding, and there does not seem to be a timeline in place, which will undoubtedly lead to sheer frustration for drivers from all corners of Wales. Councillor Andrew Morgan, leader of the Welsh Local Government Association, said, "These are not easy decisions for councils and safety remains our priority. There will need to be a high level of confidence that, if and where the limit is raised back to 30 miles per hour, it will not result in the very risks the policy was designed to mitigate." The Transport Minister admitted errors have been made with the scheme, which is set to be reverted in September this year with the introduction of new guidance across the country. This will allow local authorities to raise the speed limit to be back to 30 miles per hour on certain roads outside urban centers and rural residential roads with no nearby facilities. They will also be increased on major routes, such as bus corridors, with minimal cyclist and pedestrian traffic and on some urban roads. It comes after more than 500,000 signatures were added to a Senedd petition opposing the divisive policy aimed at reducing carbon emissions. Skates told the devolved Senedd Parliament, "Errors have been made, but the new guidance will enable us to correct them, and it's my hope that, with this guidance we will begin to see the process this autumn of changes to 20 miles per hour areas." He added that while the speed limit on some routes could also be reduced, the number of these is likely to be dwarfed, though, by the number of roads that would revert back from 20 to 30. That process will begin in the autumn, he said. Signage changes, I imagine, will be made by the end of this year, going into the next calendar year. And it's my hope and expectation that by this time next year, it will be settled. Skates revealed that it would cost £5 million to revert the roads back to 30 miles per hour, which is just under a sixth of the £32 million it cost for the original scheme. The policy was introduced in September last year, with the promise that lower speed limits would lead to fewer collisions and people injured. The Welsh Government provided funding to Wales' 22 councils for new signs required to alert drivers of the speed limit. It has seen fierce opposition from the Conservatives in the Senedd, who have branded it a waste of time and resources. He said that while the policy had been in Labour's manifesto during the last Senedd election, he understood that people in Wales lead busy lives and do